All right, we got some trades. We got a Ricky Tiedemann update, actually. So we're going to cover all that here. We got a couple minutes. We're going to go over everything you need to know.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, so some Blue Jays trade news. You know, we were out at the Country Rising Festival here in Winnipeg last night, and of course, that's when the Yimi Garcia trade news comes out. And you know, we were a little bit banged up, but we got it done. We got into it. We talked about it a little bit on the short we made yesterday, and we wake up this morning and Nate Pearson has also been moved. The information has finally come out about what the trade actually entails. So Carter, let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, obviously, it was written in the stars that this was going to come out on Friday. We said that was the worst case scenario for us to cover it, but we did get something out there. Obviously, we did have a few beers in that, so that was an interesting video, definitely a fun one to make. But again, now that we do have some time, we're feeling a little bit better. Got some time to kind of go over these trades here. So the first one being Yimi Garcia, the big move there. The Toronto Blue Jays get Jonathan Clase and Jacob Sharp from the Mariners in exchange for Yimi Garcia. Clase is the Mariners, was the 13th ranked prospect in their system. So a little bit of an upside guy. He's very quick. His speed is in the 97th percentile, I believe it is. And for a rental in Yimi Garcia, just only 2 months, for getting a 13th ranked prospect in anyone's system, I'm definitely going to take that. Jacob Sharp, don't know a lot about this guy. That was just kind of seemed like a throw in here. The main one is Jonathan Clase. I'm going to have to get used to saying Jonathan instead of Jonathan. But hopefully this guy can make an impact. He played 19 games with the Mariners. Didn't look great in those outings. But again, still a young guy. He's only 22 years old. So nice to get some prospects in return for Yimi Garcia.
Yeah, this was the move that we sort of all expected to happen. I think maybe secondary to whatever's going to come out about Yusei Kikuchi, I would assume in the next day or so, if I was a betting man. But yeah, I don't know. Yimi Garcia, it's one of those that we just had on the docket of he was going to be moved, and it sort of needed to happen. I think, we've talked a ton about should they trade a bunch of these bullpen guys, right? Because they're going to have to restock the bullpen next year. But actually, when we were on with Johnny from Gate 14, he made a pretty good point just about that. You should be able to find some good pieces within free agency. So that's going to be the struggle now, is looking ahead to the free agency about some of these bullpen guys, which we'll get into Nate Pearson right away. But yeah, there's going to have to be a complete reload of this bullpen for it to be good. I mean, I don't know, Carter. These trades really don't mean a whole lot to me for a team that is saying that they want to go into a retool, not a rebuild. I'm thinking you get prospects for a rebuild. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think the Yimi Garcia thing, yeah, like you said, written in the stars. The next one sort of came out of nowhere. I wasn't really overly expecting Nate Pearson to be moved. He was not one of my guys that I assumed was going to be, but sort of an interesting move. Nate Pearson to the Chicago Cubs in exchange for outfielder Rodnick Pinanjo and shortstop Josh Riviera. The team announces Pearson, who turns 28 next month, posted a 5.63 ERA. And yeah, I don't know, Carter. I mean, we look at the 17th ranked prospect from the Cubs. That's who we get. He's an outfielder. Pinanjo is also a Rule 5 draft eligible this winter. So the Blue Jays will have to add him to the 40-man. Riviera, the Cubs' third-round pick in 2023. I don't know. He's a shortstop. I think this is more of just again, an addition piece. I don't think that either of these guys are overly going to make a big impact within this team. But that's where we're at. Sorry, I'm just reading some of your guys' comments. Ernie Clement might have to be converted to a bullpen pitcher the way things are going. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. New Brunswick, Canada guy comments that. Yeah, 100%. It's this bullpen. I don't know what's going to happen with it moving forward this season. I mean, like we talked about, they're going to have to restock in the offseason this coming year. And I think that's what's scary is for a team that's talking about a retool, man, I don't know. With some of these moves, it just really doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, right now, with the way things are going, Ernie Clement might be our best option as a bullpen arm. Maybe you got IKF throwing some innings when he comes back as well. Because, yeah, you can't say many bullpen arms are throwing in the ninth inning and then going walking off the next day. So that's a little bit of upside there for Ernie Clement. But, yeah, overall, this bullpen is in shambles. Nate Pearson, not a guy I necessarily expected to move as well. For me, this trade's a little bit of a nothing burger, just kind of looking into these guys. Nothing too crazy here. Like Rivera had 219 at-bats, 38 hits, 16 RBIs, 67 strikeouts to 33 walks, 7 stolen bases. And then Pinango has 197 at-bats, 44 hits, 21 RBIs. Again, nothing crazy here. Not very highly touted prospects in these the Cubs system. Nate Pearson is a guy, though, who was just the epitome of upside. You wanted this guy to be so good. He was so much talk about him. He was a highly touted prospect, one of the best Toronto Blue Jays prospects we've seen in a while, and just hasn't really put it all together. Has shows some flashes from time to time, does have that fastball velo, and that's why we were holding on to him so heavily. They really wanted this guy to work out. Didn't really work out with the Toronto Blue Jays. Maybe he had a better shot with the Chicago Cubs, a little bit of a fresh start for him. But yeah, for me, it's just you get some return. That's kind of what we were looking for. You move on from Nate Pearson. It may be the best for both organizations, both parties in this trade. So tough to see him go, but a move that I'm definitely not upset about.
No, I'm not really either. I think, like we talked about, there was going to have to be moves made. It's just where would they come to? What would you get in return? And so far, I mean, I don't know, Carter. These guys, everybody that the Blue Jays have acquired so far in these trades are nothings to me, really. I don't really care. I think that if they want to retool this team, they need to make some, I don't know, I don't want to say smarter moves, but some smarter moves. And I think that's what we'll see with the Yimi Garcia trade, the Yusei Kikuchi trade. I think that's where some pieces will come back. And I thought you thought as well that it was going to be a package deal with maybe Yimi Garcia, but now that's off the table. So we'll see sort of which direction that trade takes us. Just another one from New Brunswick, Canada guy. If they trade Green, Swanson, and Henny,
if he's saying if they trade Chad Green, then we're gonna have to rely on Swanson and Genesis Cabrera to be the closer and the setup man.
Gotcha. Yeah.
For this year, I mean, I don't really care. Like, you could go out there and be the closer for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's not really going to matter. This team's not making the playoffs. Yeah. Again, for me, I just want these prospects, these younger guys, to get some time and some ability to throw in these major league games. When Mako comes back, that's going to be a guy I want to see. Obviously, Ricky Tiedemann would have been a guy that we've been saying. Scott Mitchell came out and said that there was no structural damage. And then we get the report, I believe it was either this morning or last night, where he is undergoing Tommy John. So he's probably going to miss the entirety of 2025 as well. For a Toronto Blue Jays prospect pool that already is just not great to begin with, having Ricky Tiedemann go down, and just that's been his problem his entire career. But having him going down and not being able to throw innings is really going to hurt his development.
Yeah, Ricky Tiedemann's sort of one of those guys that, we've talked about so much. And I know you said earlier this season that you wanted to see him come in post-trade deadline and really make it, start to earn some innings, to clock some innings. And it just doesn't seem like that's going to, I mean, it's definitely not an option now, but you sort of seen where it's going, right? And I mean, hold on, I'm just going to get into some more of the comments here as you guys are in here. Anthony Ranger, who else is going to get traded that we don't know of? That's a great question, to be honest with you. I mean, we've done our predictions, Carter, and we've said a couple of guys that we thought are a possibility. But at this point, I don't know. This Nate Pearson trade doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I really don't understand the move here. And I think, it might be one of those things where every day is a little bit something new. New Brunswick, Canada guy, Yankees are interested in Green, and IKF, though, Phillies like Green too. Yeah, Chad Green is one of those guys that is going to be liked throughout the entire league. We talked about him with the Yankees, as Aaron Judge did make a statement saying, Chad Green's one of his favorite teammates that he's played with. So that's a very real possibility, and I think we have to look out for that. But if we trade Chad Green, Carter, I don't know. There's not much left. Who are we watching? How many times is Ernie Clement going to have to go out there in the remainder of this season?
Yeah, he's probably going to have to rely on him quite a bit, actually. Like, they pulled up a guy, Yari Rodriguez, who has like a 6.5 ERA in AAA. So there's not a lot of help coming from the AAA system, especially with this bullpen right now, the way it's constructed. But yeah, you move on from Chad Green. Trevor Richards could be linked in trades as well. But as we've seen, he has just been horrendously awful the last week and a half. It doesn't seem like he wants to get traded away from Toronto. But yeah, you have to rely on Erik Swanson. Erik Swanson might be a guy that you move on from as well. I don't love that because, again, I've kind of hammered this on our trade deadline episodes that I don't like selling low on guys. Erik Swanson does have the ability to be a very good reliever for the rest of this season and the entirety of next season. So that's not necessarily a guy I want to move on from. But again, when you're in this spot where the Toronto Blue Jays are right now, they're saying that they want to retool, but like what you were saying as well, like who are you going to retool with when you're trading all of your bullpen arms? You don't have anyone coming up from AAA. You do have the offseason. A lot of free agent signings are going to need to be made. You're going to need to find some diamonds in the rough, but it's going to be a complete overhaul of this bullpen in the offseason right now. And I just don't know where the Blue Jays are going to start because they have a lot of moves that they're going to have to make.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Is that with these trades happening, we don't have a clear picture. And we talked about, and we hammer this consistently, is all, I think, us, the fans, everybody, maybe even the players, all they want to know is what is the direction of this baseball club. And I feel like every day it changes. It changes from the retool to the rebuild. And if you're going to rebuild, then why are you keeping Vlad and Bo? If you're going to retool, why are you making some of these moves to blow up the bullpen? I don't necessarily. You just have to bring in other pieces. It's not. It shouldn't have to be a complete, fire sale. But that's what it's looking like is going to happen. I think the next couple of days are going to be absolutely insane for trades here from the Toronto Blue Jays. Because I mean, there's a lot of guys still that we expect to leave, like Yusei Kikuchi, like Chad Green, maybe even a Justin Turner. New Brunswick, Canada guy. Yeah, that's a great point. Class A scouting report is very similar to Tapia's when he was at age 22. Does that excite anybody? Like, I don't know. You might get an inside the park grand slam once in his career, but that's about all you're getting.
Yeah, what a moment. But yeah, it's like if you're comparing to Raimel Tapia, like that's not necessarily something I'm going to get excited about. But yeah, just looking at overall this team, like for this trade deadline, you're going to be trading these pieces to contenders. So they're not going to give you MLB talent back, right? Because they want to make a run. They want MLB talent to bolster their bullpen, their pitching, their field, whatever it is. They're not going to give up some of their key players to have success for their postseason run. They're not going to give that back to the Toronto Blue Jays. So a lot of these trades are probably going to be prospect orientated. And again, if you want to go for this big retooling, I guess, yeah, you do have to sell off your assets because if you're not going to re-sign these guys anyway, you want to get something in return for them. But you're not really going to help yourself out for next season. Again, and down for the future, for sure, getting prospects can help. Again, it's kind of like buying a lottery ticket. You got to see who works out, who doesn't. It's you're really just taking a gamble. But overall, like it's going to be a tough 60 games of baseball to watch for the rest of this season. And I feel like, again, a little bit disappointed with this Nate Pearson trade. I feel like we're just going to continue to get disappointed with the hauls we're getting back.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest sort of gripes right now is I think we're going to see a lot of trades. And, I had only 2 or 3 moves being made realistically. Now that we've traded Nate Pearson, I could see this becoming a complete fire sale a little bit. And maybe some of the only guys that you're left with is going to be Vlad, Bo, and a couple other guys that are signed for more term. I just don't know. I don't feel like there's enough core pieces here if we're going into 2025 and making trades that are not going to help us in 2025. I really just do not understand this. But Carter, I don't know, man. I guess moving forward, I gotta run to work here. I'm supposed to work in about half an hour, so I got to get ripping. But we do appreciate everybody tuning in. We wanted to get this episode out. Just before we go, Carter, I guess, what do you think the next move is going to be? Do you think it's going to be Yusei Kikuchi, or is it going to be a little bit of a surprise here?
I think I'm going to go with the cop-out answer a little bit here. I think it will be Yusei Kikuchi, whether it's the Astros, whether it's the Baltimore Orioles. But again, the Orioles got Zach Eflin, so I don't know if they would necessarily be in on the Yusei Kikuchi sweepstakes anymore. But you got to move on from Kikuchi. It doesn't really seem like you've expressed interest in signing this guy back for an extended period of time. So again, you're going to have Alek Manoah next year. You thought you might have Ricky Tiedemann coming next year. Obviously, that is off the table as well. So yeah, I have Yusei Kikuchi going. I think that like Chad Green might be another one that I didn't necessarily have him being a big arm that was going to move, but with that Nate Pearson trade, with the Yimi Garcia trade, I think Chad Green, he's going to pick up more and more interest from these contending teams. And again, when a guy with a year of control, when you get a 13th ranked prospect back from Yimi Garcia, who's more of a rental, you might actually be able to crack the top 10 in some of these prospect systems for a guy like Chad Green. Trevor Richards, I don't really see him moving, but yeah, like it's Nate Pearson one surprised me. So there might be some more surprising deals as we continue to get closer to this Tuesday trade deadline.
Yeah, just moving forward, if there is any more trades or news that come out, I will be at work until about 10 o'clock Central Time tonight. So I will be unavailable, but I believe Carter's away. We have Dallin on standby. I'm going to try to join from work and just at least get things kicked off if need be, or Carter can join from wherever. We just got New Brunswick, Canada guy just said that Jazz Chisholm to Yankees right now. I will take a look. That would be an interesting one for sure. The Yankees are going to be a team that's going to load up if that is true. And that's a very good possibility for Chad Green. So take a look out for that. But like I said, guys, let us know what you guys think. We're going to read through some of your comments. If you guys have ideas of where guys are going to go, we'll bring it up in the next live stream, because I'm guessing there's going to be a couple more within the next couple of days here. So, keep it locked here on Locked On Blue Jays. We will, try to keep you guys as up to date as possible with live streams, videos. If we can't get a live stream out, we probably will, as long as it's a bigger name. If it's just like, some whatever trade, then we probably just will do a TikTok or a short on that. So keep in tune for those. But most likely we'll try to get live and break it all down for you guys here. Keep it locked. Let us know what you guys think about these trades. We'd love to hear about them. And we'll talk to you guys. I'm just gonna say it. I'm assuming there's gonna be something else done today. So we might see you guys later tonight.